Okay, thank you. Malbushim sheipsuchim min atzodim lamato. You have garments which they're open on the side. Page 35. Yud Zayin. Zayin. Adches. Alan. Zayin. Yeah, right, correct. Malbushim sheipsuchim min atzodim lamato. You see these people, they come from India, they wear these garments. It's like a long garment, and they're cut on the side. There's a slit down the side of the garment. V'yesh l'm arba kanfos. So, because of the slit, each side of the slit down toward the bottom is square. So it has 4 corners. L'tzad mato u'l'mal hinstumin, but it's sewn on top, right? Under the arm. It's put in. The slit doesn't start immediately all the way on top. It starts, let's say, midway down, or let's say 3/4 up. It goes down. Im rubo posuach. Im rubo sosum. If the majority of the side of the garment is closed, potter, then it's not considered a corner that you're obligated to put tzitzis on. It's potter. Im rubo posuach. But if the majority of that slit is the majority of the garment, if you measure from the armpit down, correct? The majority is open. Chayuf. That's called a corner. That's considered the garment is open. It's open. You always say ruba kokula. The majority of the garment is not closed.
Even though it's almost touching the floor.
It's irrelevant.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't make a difference. Give you an example. Person goes to the big men's shop, right? And there's a vent on the suit. The vent. Podiatrist, I don't know, they didn't teach you that in podiatry school. A vent. That vent, if you take a guy who's 5 feet tall, that vent is enough to make a suit for the little guy. But for the guy who's 7'2" on the Harlem Globetrotters, that he still exists, I don't know. Okay, that vent is enough. Just covers, a small part of his body, right? Okay. So if it's ruba pasuach, the majority is open, that's considered a corner. What about it's 50-50? We say ruba kokula, right? The majority is the equivalent if it's open all the way. If it's a minority, it's not. What about it's exactly 50-50? Matil and also l'chumra. We have the principle known as yefshel etzamtzei. You can't measure something exact. So it's either more or less, you're not sure. See, l'chumra, it's a sofitaris l'chumra. It may be a corner, may not be a corner.
Would it be a disrespect, for instance, if you had a garment like that, and it's just on the floor, or get a long garment, say below your knee, it's just on the
No, so what you'd have to do is respect, make a pocket, put it in the pocket. Right, but tzitzis you can put on that corner. Even though it seems to be from Gemara in Brachos. Gemara has a whole question if the dead after they pass away, are they aware what's going on in this world? Are they aware what's going on in this world if the person passes away? So Gemara tells over a story, there were 2 Amorim walking, and he had tzitzis and tchelis on his corner of his garment, and as he walked, the tzitzis were dragging over the graves. So the other one said to him, he says, what are you disgracing the dead? You're disgracing them. You're like mocking the dead. What are you flaunting? You could do the mitzvahs. They can't do the mitzvahs. So they don't know the difference. They don't know the difference. That's the whole discussion in Gemara. But over the, it seems to be his tzitzis were dragging on the floor, right? So evidently, that's not called a disgrace. Okay, let's talk now. What's the halacha of tzitzis on posel? How do you dispose of them? Do they have to be buried? No. But you have to wait. You have to dispose of them respectfully. So you can't take it and just throw it directly into the trash, right? Put it in a bag. Put it in. If the person wears a garment and the tzitzis drag on the floor, see, there's a difference. If you have a beged miyuchad letefillah, talis we wear in the morning, that talis is specifically designated for tefillah, right? And we put the tzitzis on that garment to fulfill the mitzvah of tzitzis. That's why we do it, because our garments are not tailored to have 4 corners. That's done specific. So that To leave the tzitzis just dragging on the floor would be a disrespect. Okay? But what about you put the tzitzis on? It's a mitzvah, but because that's what I'm supposed to do. So even if those tzitzis would drag on the floor, I'm saying you can drag it through the mud, but allowing it to drag just on the ground, that would not be considered disrespect. It's based on what its primary usage is. If it's talsim yuchad l'tefillah, that's a disrespect. Because even the garment, what about if you take that material, right? We had a case. If you want to take the material of a mantle or parochas and make a pair of pants out of it, right? You're not permitted to. No, it's worse than a downgrade. It's a disgrace using it for a pair of pants. It's not. You don't use it for that. It was used already. It was used. It was used already, right? So what about a talus? Use it by Europe, the style of striped pants, right? Especially you brought back one of these things from Israel. Six different colors. Person says, perfect for a pair of pants. Okay, breaks. It's not appropriate. It's a talus. That's you make a pair of pants. I'm not saying it's a question of halacha. It's not halacha. It's not appropriate. But that's where it's beged that it was specifically designated for tefillah. But let's say it's a garment. Person has a four-cornered garment. That's the way it's tailored. It wouldn't be a disrespect, because that is the garment. So I'm saying same thing with the strings dragging on the floor. Of course, to drag through something which is truly putrid, exposed, that would be a disrespect. Regardless, it's still a mitzvah. Under the arm.
So the tzitzis itself, it has no innate kedusha at all?
No. It's referred to as tashmishi mitzvah, something which is used to fulfill a mitzvah. There's no kedusha whatsoever.
I mean, the tzitzis is the mitzvah.
No, with the tzitzis you fill. Give an example. Matzah. Bake matzah. Matzah. Does it have any innate kedusha? But when you eat it, and within the way it's supposed to be eaten, you eat it within the time frame you're supposed to eat it. You fulfill the mitzvah. The matzah didn't have a kedusha before you ate it, and even after you ate it. The matzah was the object through which you fulfilled the mitzvah. Same thing with the strings. Let's say factually it was that. That's the way the government was tailored. I don't know. We'll see. See, because it's difficult. The Gemara says that yevshel something that if you can't have something, you can't know exactly. That's only b'dei shamayim. If you have, let's say, two calves were born simultaneously, right? So we say nothing happens simultaneous. So the question is, one is a b'chor, one's not a b'chor. You're not sure which one came out first. But after they come, there's no way to determine it. What about if you have a wall? The question is, parts moving in the omate, right? Yeah, if the majority stands, the majority is breached. You can measure it, because that's b'dei odom. You could afterwards, it stands, measure it. You can measure it exactly what it is. So if that's the case, this could be measured over here. So when is it a suffix? Measure it, and based on that measurement, that will determine whether it's majority or not majority. So see, because there's another request, there's a question in the Gemara that even 50-50, we also say, would be the equivalent of ruba kukula. 50% is enough. You don't need 100%. You don't need the majority. We'll see. No. That's something else. The majority about is in the sukkah. You're in the sukkah. The majority out, you're out of the sukkah. No, that's different. That's where he was in the sukkah. His table was outside. That's a drabana, because we're considering land about the sukkah. Mm-hmm. So rabbinically, he's not yotzei. Over there. Okay, let's see the Mishna Berura. Patur. Afilu im yesh b'mid posuach shitalasi. It's understood. Poshut. I mean, he's saying the chiddush. What about the vent? The vent which is open. Let's say we said 18 by 18 is the minimum for tzitzis. Let's say the vent is 18 by 18. That's the extent of the material. So you'd say even though it's part of the garment which is closed, but factually that in its own right is sufficient to obligate you to put on tzitzis. The chiddush is, but since it's part of a larger garment, and the larger garment is sealed, the majority is sealed, it's irrelevant. what that is independent. V'mosbo tzitz v'akach posach rubo. No, very simple. Whatever he put on tzitzis, where it was the majority, and then he opened up the seam. So what is that? That's tasav lo min osui, right? That's the case we had before. You have 3 corners, you put on tzitzis, then you make a 4th corner. Right, the verse 3 is not valid, same thing. The majority wasn't open, you put on the vents. You put tzitzis, then you opened it eventually. Right, so how did the tzitzis come about? You never made these tzitzis on the corners that were obligated. So therefore they have to be redone. You have to open it and redo it again. The most tzitzis akach posarubo, psulim mishum taslo ben osui, kedlev sifei, tzorch latirom. You have to untie them, v'lavzul koshram, and to retie them. Rubo pasuach chayiv. What about if the majority is open? Hainu davka rov mikol habeged. The majority of the garment is open on the side. Lokon she'osa chayotim talus kodin shetofun oso min hatzdodim u'mnechem nekev shebachlis bo heyadayim v'tofun lamato nekev v'nichmer pasuach. Just before we said, let's see, he asked me, you have this tunic, you put it over your head. Now, the tailor, there's a place you put your arms. Then you have sewn, then you have eventually the vent. You have the vent. So say if the vent is, the majority of the vent is open, then it's considered a corner, you have to put tzitzis on. What about, he says, let's say the majority is not open, but if you add the arm area where you put your arm through, that opening, and you add it to the vent, you're going to have the majority open. Right? Would you be obligated? The answer is you're not obligated. Because factually, that's closed. That, where you put your arm through, right, has no relevance to where the vent is. It's closed. Below it, it's sewn closed. So you have to calculate, measure from the vent going up. Is this majority of this garment that is open or not open? The answer is it's not open. Okay? You don't. See, it's not so simple.
On the side.
Yeah, the question if the majority. What about the tzitzis? These, whatever they call them, where normally there's a button. They're worn where it's buttoned down, and that's the way it's worn. Right? Or snaps. They're snapped. And that's the way it is. I'm not sure. Like, because if that's the way it's worn, that it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be worn open.
Not a vent.
It's not sometimes open, sometimes closed.
It's one snap, and then it's all the way open.
No, I'm not sure. I'm just saying. I don't know exactly what it is. But if it would be that. No. You put. No, sometimes you can't put. You put it on the shirt. You have buttons. They're not meant to be open. They're meant to be open to be able to put it on, then you're clothed. To put it on, but once it's on, the way it's worn as a closed garment. No, so I'm saying it's not so simple. It's always worn buttoned. That's the way the shirt is worn. That means the opening has no value. But again, it would be like the armpit. It would be like the arm area. Same thing. Yeah, but if you if the rest of that's not a problem.
That's where it's here. So it's not snapped all the way down. It's not just
Where did that come from?
Okay. David just invested in that company.